Harvard College senior studying abroad at the Sorbonne. Wow, you never know where inspiration will strike you or how. And I was walking around Paris and eating all of this amazing chocolate and pastry and just falling in love with the experience of walking and learning and meeting pastry chefs and meeting chocolatiers, because I'm kind of nosy in that way, right? I'll go into your store and say, wow, what's going on? Tell me about it. Can I look at the kitchen? I'm just excited to absorb everything that I can about chocolate. I've always been that way. So while walking around in Paris, the idea struck me. I said to my 19-year-old self, that I could create a tour that would allow other people to have this experience. Way back then, there were no chocolate tours or movie tours or wine tours or really anything that I had ever heard of. There were architecture tours. So in my mind, this was sort of combining the idea of an architecture tour with eating all the chocolate I could get my hands on and letting other people learn and experience that too. So I got started in that business. Somewhere along the way, there was Harvard Law School and practicing law, and that was so not for me. And I sometimes joke, I used to be a lawyer and now I'm happy. Things worked out. So in any case, when I finally started the business officially, it was based on that idea. And so it was really a dream come true to be able to continue that. And now we're just extending that in new ways. So, okay, you know the answer. You figured it out. You've always known it. People have been cultivating cocoa for at least 5,000 years. Wow. And when I think about that, I think, wow, what did people do before? What did people do before there was chocolate? So as far as we know, chocolate has been cultivated, cocoa has been cultivated for at least 5,000 years. And it originated, as you know, in the Amazon basin, Ecuador. We've seen cacao growing in Mexico for at least 4,000 years. Today, most of the world's cacao is grown in West Africa. And the challenge there is child labor, deforestation. And so by choosing craft chocolate, we're again not only getting great health benefits, but we're supporting ethical supply chains. So ethical supply chain cacao on to the grapefruit, the cocoa nibs, as you know. Oh, they're so crunchy, they're so nutty, they're so lovely. And here's where the immunity boost starts, because cocoa nibs are so loaded with iron, with other minerals and vitamins that work together to boost your immune system. Every time you eat cocoa beans, you are aiding in your body's defense against anything that might want to get in the way of your health. So cocoa beans to the rescue. Now, by adding chocolate, we're adding some more of that good cacao health, and we're adding some additional flavor. So how do I choose what chocolate to put onto what breakfast? I kind of try again, and it's all good, and you really can't go wrong. But I found a couple of things. I found that I like with like. What I mean by that is that grapefruit, for example, is acidic and flavorful and rich. And by the way, when you've got organic fruit, don't you love the smell? When you've got non-organic fruit, don't you notice there is no smell? So I'm always excited to choose organic, and I'm excited to pair something like an acidic, rich, flavorful, zingy, zesty grapefruit with chocolate that has some of those same characteristics. So speaking of Obolo chocolate of Chile, I have selected this Obolo chocolate bar. I'm just going to get my hands on it. I'll show you later how to break chocolate without touching it with your hands. You just do it in the package. It's really easy. So I've selected this Peru bar, 70% cocoa. And one of the reasons that I like it is that it's got a fruity, zingy zestiness. So the chocolate and the grapefruit are not fighting with each other. They are in beautiful, harmonious song with each other. The other thing that I love about this particular bar for this particular fruit, the ingredients. So I know we've got static cameras, but I'm going to try to zoom myself in close so that you can get a look at the ingredients. What's in this chocolate bar? Can you see it? Yeah, just 2 ingredients, cacao and sugar. That's all you need. Cacao and sugar, that's all you need. Now, I'm a super fan of adding in all manner of additional delicious inclusions. Maybe you like nuts in your bar. Maybe you like green tea powder mixed into your chocolate. Maybe you like different berries and fruits. Maybe you like milk chocolate. We'll talk about that a little bit too. But all you need is cacao and sugar. And I find that without the addition of cocoa butter, the grapefruit zinginess is not at all diluted by any sort of unctuousness of cocoa butter. So again, for a zingy fruit, I like a zingy chocolate, and that's how I start to think about pairing up my chocolate and breakfast combo. So Oh boy, I wish you were here. 2 spoons. Okay, well, let's move on because I told you that I have a lot of things to show you and I want to stay on time. Otherwise, wow, again, just come over and we'll do it in person. We'll come back to that. So let's move on because one of the next elements that I want to show you takes us from fruit to bread. So chocolate croissant. Anybody ever enjoyed one? Yeah, anybody enjoying one right now? Absolutely. Let me ask you a radical question though. Where did the chocolate in your chocolate croissant come from? Is it chocolate of unknown, mysterious heritage? Is it chocolate that is giving you the health benefits that we're talking about? Or is it chocolate that perhaps comes from a dirty supply chain, let's call it, where there may be child labor, deforestation, and just some of the true horrors of this world? Is it chocolate that you know the percentage? Is it milk chocolate? What do we know about this mystery chocolate in your chocolate croissant? Well, that's why I like to make my own. And when I say make my own, my goodness, I'm not milling the flour, I'm not laminating the dough, I'm not even turning on the oven. I'm buying a croissant from a place that I respect. This particular croissant, can you see it? Can I wave it around at you a little bit? This particular croissant was made by Hewn, H-E-W-N, and you can get these at Toto's Market in Chicago or go to Hewn Bread in Evanston, just north of Chicago. You've got a local bakery near you. So what I love about Hewn is it's organic flour. They ferment and they mill everything themselves, so everything's done in-house. This is not industrial pesticide grain. This is healthy grain. And I find that even though it is gluten and not gluten-free, I don't get any gluten effects because there's not that GMO shift that increases gluten apparently in industrial baked goods. So in any case, I know where my croissant came from and I know where the chocolate came from. So the chocolate that I've selected for this delectable item is first put on top some jam. So toast and jam, bread and jam, what's more sort of traditional breakfasty in our parts than that. I don't know if you can see this, but it's Rare Bird preserves, and I love dear Elizabeth and her team of Rare Bird because not only do they make jam that we know what's in it, the ingredients are so simple, just like just like chocolate ingredients. They're very, very helpful. We've got fruit, mangoes, lime, sugar, lime zest, ginger, healthy, cinnamon, and a dash of salt, which is really exciting. So since I like to pair like with like, I've selected a chocolate bar for my jam and croissant chocolate configuration that also has a little bit of salt. This is Seren chocolate. Can you see we've got the metallic shine dancing there in the light a little bit. Seren chocolate made in Canada, and we've got the Fleur de Sel bar. So there's a little bit of salt added to the chocolate. Do you like salt with your chocolate too? Yeah, it gives such a brightness, right? Which is really exciting. And so with this bit of salt in the bar, I find that it just, again, gives that extra boost to the flavor as we are giving a boost to our immune system. Trying to rattle it out of the package. I think the cat likes the sound of that crunchy paper. What cat doesn't like the sound of crunchy paper? Georgie. Georgie loves it. So we've got the Fleur de Sel bar. So again, it's a bit of like with like. I've got a little bit of salt in the jam, a little bit of salt in the chocolate, a fresh organic croissant. I've sprinkled on some cocoa nibs because you remember cacao nibs go with everything. And that's another of my favorite breakfast assemblages. So while we're still on this note, by the way, let's make sure that we're clear on, again, what's in the chocolate. That's, gosh, just so critical, I think, in maintaining our health, knowing what we're eating, making sure that what we're eating is not compromising our health, but is supporting our health. And in our age of industrial food, sometimes it can be easy to forget that food nourishes us. Real food nourishes us. It gives us health. It gives us energy. It gives us the power and the vitality that we need to continue living. So I like to know what's in it and where did it come from. So here we've got cacao beans, organic cane sugar. Side note to the side note, the cane sugar in your good chocolate and the sugar in your fruit is different from the sugar in your donut. So for my keto friends, mwah, mwah, I am hopeful that you're going to find something here you can apply. Just eat the raw cacao nibs if you need to. They're roasted, unadorned cacao nibs, I'm trying to say, because they're 0% sugar. But the sugar in fruit is absorbed into the body completely differently from sugar, refined sugar in a donut. And the sugar in chocolate is also different because it is vegan, organic cane sugar. And so we've got cacao, sugar, all you need. Here we've got a bit of cocoa butter added in. So again, we're getting that mouthfeel, that wonderful, luscious mouthfeel. Cocoa butter is vegan, obviously, right? Just like olive oil is the natural oil of the olive, cocoa butter is the natural oil of the cocoa bean. And then a little dash of salt. That's it. That's all you need to make this delicious Seren chocolate bar. And so a quick sort of overview as to how this all came to be in history, because I think we've established that the cocoa bean has got these amazing powers of health to give us, and people throughout history have known this. So back in the ancient days, the Olmecs, the Mayans, the Aztecs, they were plant pharmacology experts among them, and they knew that food was medicine, and medicine was food. And this idea came through the Europeans and came through various societies. That is to say, when Europeans came and colonized the Americas and took chocolate, they took with them some of these ideas of the powerful health benefits of chocolate. So, for example, if you were in the court of Montezuma in the ancient Aztec world, you might have noticed that chocolate was a very important part of different rituals, whether physical, spiritual, other realms. For example, it's said that Montezuma would drink golden goblets of molten chocolate before visiting his harem. This is a family-friendly show, but you get the idea. The idea is that there are physical, mental, spiritual benefits to enjoying chocolate, and people throughout the ages have known this. Let's go to Europe. If you were in the court of King Louis, pick your favorite, you might have noticed that there was quite a bit of chocolate around, and that the king had his own chocolate pharmacist. So that if he had maybe a tummy ache, or he had, I don't know, let's hope it wasn't a virus of unknown heritage, he might have gone to his chocolate pharmacist, who could have mixed him up some potions involving the cocoa bean and involving chocolate for greater health. So the idea of chocolate for breakfast, not that radical historically. The idea of chocolate health benefits, not at all radical historically. So we're just carrying these ideas forward into our own day and time. So a couple quick notes as we start to not wrap up, but even go a little deeper before wrap up, because oh my gosh, I've got so many other fun assemblages to show you. But I'd like to make sure that we spend just a moment talking about how do you know that you're selecting the right chocolate for you to get the health benefits you want, and how much of it do you need? So how do you know it's the right chocolate, and then how much of it should you be eating, or could you be eating? Because let's face it, when we talk about chocolate for breakfast, we don't mean stop there. There's the whole rest of the day. But if you set your health expectations in the morning and you set your mood expectations in the morning, your entire day can flow in a positive direction. One of the things that I like to do is, you might giggle a little bit, but you may have heard me talk about it, calisthenics. Calisthenics is stretching, Valerie is Val, and together it's just simply a way that I remember that every day I love to do something good for body, mind, soul, and someone else. And by eating craft chocolate, I am doing all of those things. And I like to go beyond that, and I like to take additional activities. But by enjoying craft chocolate, I know that I'm checking those boxes, and I'm really excited about that. So how do you know if you're checking those boxes of good chocolate? Okay, I like to talk about the 5 S's. Ooh, I'm looking for which bar to grab. I think this one will work. So I've got a ritual bar here. Some of the chocolate bars are holding up the phone. We've got books and cookbooks and chocolate bars, and it's a thing. So I'm all alone with Georgie, and we're doing this, and it's working. So I like to look for the 5 S's. Is the chocolate bar slavery-free, sustainable, soy-free, small batch, and scrumptious? Okay, that 5th one is subjective, but that's okay, because if you don't like the taste of the chocolate, why are you eating the chocolate? I love the taste of all of these bars and many, many more, and if I didn't, I wouldn't. And so it's really all about what you love. And then those first 4 S's are definitely designed to be more objective. So the idea of slavery-free, how do we know if a chocolate bar is slavery-free? If we want to put it on our grapefruit or our croissant, to me, it's important that we know where it came from. So if you can see here, the beautiful ritual bar shining in the light, the cocoa beans here are from Ecuador, the Camino Verde, and oh my goodness, Dear Vicente is just amazing what he does with fermentation of cocoa beans in Ecuador. So when you see the cacao country of origin on the chocolate bar, that's a great thing. Think in your mind, if you will, to a commercial chocolate bar, where did the cocoa beans come from? They don't grow in Hershey, Pennsylvania. They don't grow in Switzerland. They don't grow in Belgium. And so what a commercial bar is not telling you is that typically the cocoa beans there are a mixture, most coming from Ivory Coast and child slave labor and deforestation supply chains. So if you look for the cocoa country of origin, that's already a clue that you're on the right track, because it means that chocolate maker cares, and the chocolate maker has paid more money for specialty cocoa beans so that the chocolate maker can give you a specialty chocolate bar that supports you, supports your health, supports people, and supports the planet. Same thing with sustainability. If we see a cacao country of origin and we can trace back what farms are these cocoa beans from, what types of prices are being paid, if there's some transparency around where the chocolate bar came from. This is really exciting for sustainability as well. Soy-free. What have I got against soy? I've got a lot against soy, and I'll tell you why very briefly. Soy lecithin, which you see on commercial bars, but you will not see on craft chocolate bars. If you look at the ingredients here, we've got cacao, sugar, cocoa butter, our three favorite craft chocolate ingredients. So soy lecithin is basically a byproduct of the soy processing industry, and rather than throw it away, why not sell it back into the food supply? So soy byproduct is then sheared with solvents like hexane and acetone, not food, and made to go into chocolate pipes where it thins out the chocolate for an industrial production line. So think of it perhaps this way as paint thinner. And if you needed to move paint through a lot of industrial pipes, maybe you need to thin that paint down. And if you need to move chocolate through industrial pipes, you can thin it down with soy lecithin. Maybe you're thinking, well, why not just use cocoa butter, since that's natural? If you want to make the chocolate thinner or change the viscosity, why not use cocoa butter? I would say yes, please do use cocoa butter if that's your goal. We love cocoa butter. Soy lecithin, though, because it contains these solvents like hexane and acetone, and because soy itself has got enzymes that are not friendly to the human body unless fermented. Oh, if we're talking about 1,000-year-old soy sauce in China or Japan, that's a completely different matter. But we're talking here about unfermented soy that is a thyroid disruptor, a hormone disruptor, pesticide, GMO, all of the negatives really in our big industrial food supply sort of play themselves out in soy lecithin, and that is a big reason that I avoid it. So I look for chocolate that's slavery-free, sustainable, soy-free, small batch. Let's face it, all the big brands are complicit in the big problems that we see in the chocolate industry. And then number 5, scrumptious. You've got to love it to love it. So that's how you know that you're getting the health benefits. How much chocolate should you eat? Any guesses, responses, thoughts, personal preferences? As much as you can. That's a great answer. Well, I put exactly this much of the obolo bar, you can see the missing part there, onto the grapefruit. And I put this little spoonlet full of cocoa nibs onto the grapefruit. So a little bit goes a long way. And have you found too that back in the old days, maybe we grew up, for me it was old days, grew up on commercial chocolate. And I love chocolate, even as a kid. I wouldn't drink milk unless it was chocolate milk. I had standards, thank you. But I found that it was so easy to eat an entire chocolate bar as a kid. Whereas, my goodness, this entire beautiful set and collection of chocolate bars that we have here, do you find as well, I know I want to hug them, do you need a hug? A hug! Do you find as well that with quality chocolate, a little bit goes a long way? And that's really for a couple of neat reasons. One being that the cocoa bean itself is an appetite suppressant. And so this you might consider as a health benefit. When you're eating quality chocolate, your body doesn't automatically crave more. Now again, sometimes I've got those bars and those moments where yes, I do crave more, and that's okay too. But the point is that a little bit goes a long way, because chocolate is designed that way. It's created that way. It's set up that way, that our bodies take that bit and we're ready to go until lunch and the snack, etc. So again, the idea is that if we choose the right chocolate and eat not as much as we maybe think we need to eat, but a little bit can go a long way, we're in great shape. I will show you quickly, though. I do have a couple of bars that, wow, I could just sort of eat these all day and all night. Because, again, we just kind of find the things that really resonate with us at a particular time or at a particular moment. But the idea of practicing moderation is okay. My one caveat, I guess, would be don't go overboard with that moderation stuff. Take your moderation in moderation. Sometimes it's okay to go a little bit wild. So as we start to reach the end of our time together, which, gosh, I would love to just hang out and eat chocolate with you and chit-chat all day, I want to show you just a couple more of my highlights. When I'm not eating grapefruit in season, I am often eating bananas, which are always in season. And one of my favorite assemblages here, again, putting like with like, is the Rocca Bananas Foster bar. There are bananas in the chocolate bar, and then I put banana chocolate on the banana, and it's so simple that it's simplistic, but that's okay.